Who's ready for a bit of an update on my indoor jungle, i.e. my conservatory? Stick around with me, and in this video, let me show you how my plants are coping with the middle of autumn. Hi, my name is Memo, this is my channel, Houseplantygoodness, and essentially it's a place where I like to geek out about my big passion. You might be able to see some of it behind me, it's tropical houseplants. So yes, I will be kind of picking you up and taking you around my space again, just to show you how some of my plants, and I'm kind of looking around, how some of my plants are faring in the autumn. And spoiler, not everything is going to be looking great. And that is part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, is to reassure everybody, not just the people that are just starting off now, because even us who have been doing this for a very long time, every autumn and winter tends to be relegated to the back of our minds going, this never happened. This kind of time where things struggled never happened. You come off the high of like the growing season, spring and summer, and it's just like everything is wonderful. Oh no. So this is that time of the year for me. And this is a time obviously when it's starting to get very, very dark here in the UK, very early. So they're not also getting the light levels that they kind of need. You'll notice an awful lot of grow lights around my space. I've added even more, even with the fact that there is a glass roof to here, these plants still need supplemental light. That should tell you something in the autumn. But yeah, don't assume that this is all doom and gloom. I'll show you some things that are doing well as well. And that's a thing that we all need to remember about this time of the year is there is hope. There are some plants that still will keep growing, and kind of latch onto those to give you that kind of happiness boost that you're looking for in the winter and autumn, just to kind of get you through to the next growing season, because it's not that far away. I promise. I promise. We can all make it together. I will hold your hand and say, this is not the end of the world. This is just a season and it will pass, and you will be back to basking in insane growth levels for all of your plants. But this is a reality that we do need to deal with. Okay, and I've got you with me now. And you should be able to see, let's start with the plant that is right behind me here. So the Philodendron esmeraldense, you might see some crisping that's happening here. This doesn't worry me. This is something that happens with this plant, and it has happened to this plant every kind of autumn, winter time. It tends to balance out by winter. This starts to happen a bit in the autumn, and it's just the point where I need to kind of adjust my watering for this plant. It's the point where the version of it, so this one right here is the propagation of that plant, and this one right here is the actual mother plant. And the mother plant is in soil, and it just means that I need to kind of adjust a bit more in terms of what I'm doing with that, reduce the watering a bit more, and again, the propagation, which is right here, I just need to adjust so I don't have it in a reservoir, and it will kind of sort itself out. I might tilt you up so you can kind of see, and this is something you don't always see, that is the newest leaf on the mother plant. And if I tilt you here, that is the newest leaf on the propagation. So it doesn't seem to be doing too badly. So it's okay. And this is something that I expect to happen on this plant. Let me take you around and let's see some other plants. I'm having to move the gimbal around on my arms because between the camera and the gimbal, this is very heavy. So let's have a look at some other issues that are happening. Let's go a bit further down, and hopefully that's being picked up there in terms of the light there. Apologies for the grow lights that you're seeing in the background there, but this plant does get a tiny bit of yellowing, and this is the Vitarifolium. But other than that, you can kind of see the leaves are doing fine. It doesn't really have too many issues, and it's doing okay. Now, if I bring you, whilst we're down here, let's have a look at some plants that are having some issues. And they are the Anthurium ophiolterianum. And actually, let me see if I can put you down on the table, and then I don't need to hold. Look at that. That's a lot better. And I don't have to hold. Look, what's the expression? Look, Mum, no hands. So the Anthurium ophiolterianum is doing okay. It's grown quite a bit over the growing season, and it's still pushing out leaves. And this is something that I want you to pay attention to. It's pushing out leaves, and hopefully you might be able to see on this newest leaf, there's some cosmetic damage. I found this to be the case last winter as well. So this is a plant that does okay in the kind of non-growing season, so the autumn and the winter, and it will still try to push out leaves even though I've removed its water reservoir. And part of this is some mechanical. There's another leaf here that's getting a bit of the same issue, but also I think part of it, I'm also crouching down, so I'm trying not to fall backwards. Graceful as ever. So it is one that, because of that water change, it throws a bit of a wobbly with its leaves, and it doesn't bring out pristine leaves every time. It does so in the spring and summer, less so in the autumn, but I've also seen with that one, because I nearly lost it last winter, I need to 100% remove the water reservoir. I did it a bit more brutally, but I would rather have a couple of deformed leaves and a happy, healthy plant in order for it to keep growing the next year, rather than chasing after those perfect leaves and then I lose the entire plant. It kind of seems a bit backwards to me on that one. I'd still want to keep the plant, if that makes sense, rather than just get a couple of extra new beautiful leaves for a month or two and then the plant dies. But that's just my opinion on this one. And then bringing you a bit higher up, this is the current state of the Philodendron Sharonia, and you might be able to see some of the yellowing leaves there. There's another one there. There's another one there, but also please note that is a brand new leaf, and there are new leaves coming up all the time with this plant. I'll kind of bring you up a bit higher. You can kind of see it. It's fine. It's fine. It's another one that is in semi-hydro. Behind this, it is semi-hydro, and it usually has a water reservoir in the summer. That gets removed now. It's just not necessary, because otherwise you start getting rot really quickly. And whilst we're here, actually, if you look up, this is a plant that, I can never remember the name of this. This is the one that was also originally sold, the Anthurium bullatus, and I'll see if I can put the name on the screen. I don't know what's happened with this one this year, but I don't know if you can kind of, if I bring you in a bit closer, there's a lot of like crispiness. The new leaves have come out. That's not the newest leaves. The newest leaf is fine, but this one specifically, and I don't think it's, whilst I spot a mealybug somewhere on it, it doesn't usually get mealybugs, but it doesn't look like a pest issue as far as I can tell. So anybody else has experienced this random like browning in sections, do let me know what it might be. Then we've got the Traversia Burkii, and this one's doing really well. Let me pan you up so you can kind of see what is happening there. You can kind of see quite how much has grown. This is the one that really worries me, because you can't chop and prop it. It's not a plant that does that. It's one that does better from seed. You might see how spiky that stem is there. It's insane, but I don't know kind of what's going to go on with that one, and I'm going to need to bring the shelf down in order for it to keep growing next year. So we'll see. But this one, the reason I wanted to show you this is not struggling in the slightest, but the watering needs from this, and this is why I was talking in earlier videos about adjust. This is a plant that in the spring and summer needs watering once every 3 days, once every 2 days if it's really hot. I love this time of the year, because I keep moving plant watering back on my plant care app. Again, for the people that have not been around, I use a plant care app to remind me when I need to water every single plant, when I need to fertilize it, but it's less of I 100% need to do it on the day that it tells me. It's I need to check, and if it needs watering, then water. That is especially important at this time of the year where the seasons will change. If it's summer and it's constantly warm all the time, I know that I can kind of take it for granted. I still do a quick check, but I know that it's fine. In the winter and in the autumn and in the spring when things change is where I really need to be checking because I need to be adjusting. So on my plant care app, every 2 to 3 days, this reminds me in the summer. Now in the autumn, this is we're up to 7 days now. Every 7 days, we're probably going to go up to 10 days soon. So adjust, just remember to adjust. Then, and you can see the grow light that I've got there when I was talking about grow light. Some of these I've switched off, otherwise it'd be going blind. This one, this leaf of the Veitchii, which is relatively sizable, is kind of on its way out. It's one of its oldest leaves, but it's also in front of that grow light. So I'm assuming this is going to get some burn on it sometime soon, but the plants behind it, which are there, are the ones that kind of desperately need it. So it needs to kind of be where it needs to be. Otherwise, there's going to be issues generally. For the people that are always wondering, how is my skeleton key doing? Still rubbish. Ignore my coffee cup. Still rubbish. It's even worse now because this is also in the path of the grow light. And it's a very, very, very bright grow light. But, I mean, it's okay for now. It's nothing too exciting. And let me see if I can move the radiator away and show you another plant that is struggling. So you might be able to see right at the back there. Can you see some yellowing leaves? And you can see some of the rippling leaves there and some of the yellowing leaves next to it. That is, an anthurium that looks very similar to the anthurium esmeraldens, but I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it on the screen. That one did really well last winter. It's in semi-hydro. I removed the reservoir like I did last winter, but this winter it's sacrificed a couple of its oldest leaves. Newest leaves are fine. And it's really tempting with something like this to just kind of go, oh no, I've let it dry too much and it's rotting away. I would more than happy keep it on the drier side now than the wetter side, because even if it's lost some leaves, remember what we talked about this with roots, less leaves, less use for the roots down there, so they can go for a bit longer without watering. So that one is kind of doing its thing for now. I'm trying to think what else you might want to see now. Most of the stuff up at the top here are doing quite well. The Patricia is doing okay. The Thematophyllum sprucianum is also doing okay. The Chia Pens is loving life here. It's still growing too tall. I need to see what I'm going to do with this because this is absolutely getting ginormous. What else? So the people that knew that I was struggling a bit before with my Pinkley anthurium, 1 new leaf, 2 new leaves, and there's another one somewhere at the back there. It's doing okay. It is bouncing back. It is enjoying this time of the year more than it did the summer. In the summer, it was just really disliking the level of heat, believe it or not. So let me pan you around so you can kind of see a few other bits now, all the unfattening angles in this video. Oh, and I've definitely got some grow lights here. So I might take myself out of the equation for this bit. So the Frederiksdalii right here, 1 leaf and then another leaf here. These are the 2 oldest leaves. It's finally sacrificing them, but this plant is 2 or 3 years old now. So it's doing okay. It's got a new growth point happening here. I've got my hanging orchids that are here. Very excitingly, my Masdevallia orchid, if I can pan you down here, and I'll see if I can find a picture. I did take a picture of the bloom. It did bloom. It had loads of blooms. It sacrificed all of them for 1 bloom. I'm happy I still saw a bloom. And then if I bring you up ever so slightly so you can kind of see, I don't know if that's going to pick up. Yes, it does. It's the newest leaf from the Cupulispathum anthurium. So that's doing well. You can see at the back there's some yellowing of my Monstera esqueleto. And that is normal for this time of the year. It always has a bit of a moment and then it kind of adjusts itself. But let's have a look at some good news stories. So I think this is the Studinera, if I'm not mistaken. If not, I'm going to put the name on the top. This newest leaf is finally unfurled. There's a new grow light there. And also you might see right here that I'm shaking it at the moment. That's the newest leaf of the Anthurium esmeraldense. So that one's doing really well. I say this, and I will keep saying this until I'm blue in the face. The Anthurium esmeraldense, so this leaf right here, this leaf right here, this leaf right here, and some of them are looking a bit busted, and that's fine. And that leaf right there, massively underrated plant. I know it comes up sometimes and people don't really pay it much attention. Everybody wants to go for the Philodendron esmeraldense, which obviously I understand, but possibly one of my least problematic anthuriums is my Anthurium esmeraldense, without a shadow of a doubt, basically. But let me climb up and show you some of the top shelves as well. Okay, different angle for you here now. Hermosa begonia always ends up losing some of its stems, still doing relatively well. I've removed some of the stems. It was also almost about to throw itself down because it had so many stems that were growing downwards and it was getting very top heavy. And I don't know if you can see the janky support stick is clinging on for dear life. It's literally resting against that support pole there in order for the whole thing not to topple over. I love living on the dangerous side of life and just go, let's see if the plant will throw itself off its shelf. But the Zara X Michelle is doing really, really well in terms of anthuriums right there. Really, really well. Let me actually bring it up and show you rather than, because I don't think it's coming up particularly well. But look, ignore the oldering, yellowing leaves because this one did have rot at some point. So all of the ones that you can see with a bit of yellowing on them were those leaves that were stressed at that point. And then I've propagated it and 1 leaf, 2 leaves, 3 leaves. I do the like nudge with the like chin thing. Are doing relatively well. Such a beautiful plant, so underrated, super, super duper expensive for what it is. Do I truthfully think it's worth how much it was going for? I don't know. I know a lot of people highly rate Doc Block's hybrids. I think I would too as well. I've got an immense amount of respect for him. I don't know if that could afford to be a bit cheaper, and I think in recent days and weeks and months, it has got cheaper and a bit more approachable for some people. I think it's worth the money. I do think it's worth the money. I don't think it's worth the money, a lot of money, but it's worth the money that they're charging for it now. The other one that you might be able to see here, and there's a newest leaf back there, is the Anthurium peltigerum, which is doing well, and I've pulled back this year drastically in terms of the watering. So it is making a huge amount of difference. What you are seeing also behind it in terms of a massive leaf there, this is a Philodendron leinamii. So that is doing better. It's getting less pests, especially this time of the year, because in the summer, I have never seen a philodendron liked so much by spider mites. Absolutely insane. But it's doing okay. It's a crawler. But the one thing I will say about that, I've not come to fully love it yet, but I am appreciating it a lot more because for however much I always poo-poo on crawlers and they take up a lot of space and they relatively grow fast and all these things, this does not grow fast and it doesn't take an awful lot of wide space. It tends to stay upright. Granted, I do have top-down lighting for this, so I don't know if you were growing it with directional grow lights, whether or not that would be a bigger issue in terms of how it would adjust. Now let's have a look at other things that you might find interesting around here. Obviously, all of the orchids at the top are doing okay, and you can see the tops here of the Philodendron esmeraldense, and you can see right back, oh, Cyrtosperma johnstonii, I think I remembered it this time round. That is doing okay. This is the time of the year where at best it does okay. It has a lot of pests, but as long as I can make it through to the next growing season, that one will do okay. There are certain plants in my space that I know will look like rubbish in the autumn and winter, and I just need to grin my teeth and bear it. And by the time the new growing season comes along, they will flush out, they will start being big and bold and beautiful again, but they just need that winter rest / ugly duckling stage of their existence to be happy, basically. But you can kind of see the Tversia palmata, not palmata, that's the one I want. Tversia palmata is the one I want. The Tversia burkii is the one that I ended up getting. Doing okay. And then I'm trying to think, because I'm just looking at the camera as well. Veitchii leaf right there. Sharonii leaves about here. Everything's reverted on the camera. And the Jose Buono is the big paddly leaves that you're seeing there, and it's even got a new leaf coming in as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. Some of it is doing okay. Some of it is doing okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's worth noting. My Cymbidium orchid has finally come back inside after its spring and summer outdoors. That one's really perking up. I was hoping the reason why it stayed outdoors is so I could eventually get a bloom, and it happens around this time of the year. It hasn't happened yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get a Cymbidium bloom on it yet, but it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I saw some amazing content creators that are based in Australia that were growing this, but they were growing it in a very, very light and airy aroid soil mix, even though it's an orchid, and they had it outdoors, but it might be because Australia gets warmer and all of these things. This one did okay, it didn't die off, but I think I did lose some root rot, some roots to root rot. I have since put it in my closest approximation of kind of a middle ground, which is very small orchid chips rather than orchid bark massive chunks. So it retains a bit of the moisture, but it also has an awful lot of airflow. I'm hoping it will do better and maybe get a bloom next year, but I know those can get absolutely stinking huge. And it's doing okay. It's doing really, really well. I mean, keep in mind my reverted Monstera albo, and you can see when I say Monstera albo, I am doing it all of the favors because there's not that much variegation really. This was my first ever Monstera albo, but it's still growing 6 or 7 years later, so it's doing okay. And actually there is a tiny bit of speckled variegation on here. And actually I think nearly all of the leaves, exception of 1 or 2 green ones, have got some form of variegation on them. So don't always give up on your Monstera albos. They will sometimes get even small traces of variegation. You just need to be patient with them. I think people have spoken about the albo quite a bit. I'm trying to think now if there's anything else that you might want to see. I think that's everything for now. I need to, I don't know if you'll be able to see the dark clawed there. It's really, really leaning. So bit of MacGyvering of things that are happening there. So I have got a janky support stick in the plant pot with it. The janky support stick is plant tied around the support of that metal shelf that it's on. And even then it's grown so large and heavy at the top that it's tilting the janky support stick to the side. That's going to snap. I need to put something stronger, which is probably going to be for some of my bigger plants. I'm going to start putting in some bamboo canes because they can take it a bit better rather than, I don't know what the ones that you can usually get in the garden centers, which is just some form of wood, but they tend to be too flexy. So if the plant gets too heavy, it doesn't do as well. I find bamboo tends to be a bit stronger. I know, and I don't know how, when I saw this a while back, there was somebody in the garden that put a bamboo stake in and eventually they ended up getting some bamboo. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes if you get even the smallest bit of life on a bamboo stick, you might get a new bamboo, and that's a bigger headache in the garden. But it's up there with the kind of like, I'm going to do everything to these plants, and they're still unhappy, and you get the exact same plants, not here, but somewhere else growing between pavement tiles. Just despite all of us. But let me go down and let's kind of like do some final thoughts. Okay, I am crouching down for this bit and I've put the camera down just so I've got on both my hands, a bit of jazz hands for you right there, sorry. I'm in a silly mood today on a Sunday, so I am going with it. But yes, what did you think? Did any of this surprise you? Did I miss your favorite plant? I always invariably miss somebody's favorite plant and the one that they desperately want to see it. Please do let me know in the comments down below, because when you do, I can kind of take that, put it in a list for the next kind of like house plant jungle kind of update that I do monthly, and I'll see if I can remember to bring that in and show it to you then. I don't know whether or not I'm going to do a repot with me again this month as well, because I know my repot from September ended up coming out in October because I was away. So I'm still debating, although to be fair, I think if I know I've left it too late now, if I didn't do the repot this week, and even this weekend, if I had filmed it, I think the month ends before the weekend, which is probably when you would get it. Sorry, I'm rambling. But yes, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. And I truly, truly hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.